What's happening, fellas? Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Hopefully your day is off to a great start. I'm already excited to get the NFL back tomorrow after a couple of days off. But we got NBA basketball tonight. We got this last week of baseball. Still a buttload of sports going on this week, so enjoy it while it's here. We're not that far away from being down to just football, so it's going to be a borderline tragedy when we get there. But for the time being, we still got a lot of stuff to talk about. Before hopping in today's DK picks, guys, I'm going to continue to shove this overlay fantasy sports matchup shop down your throats, and hopefully I can get a couple of new players over here. It's only been about 10 days, but I keep using the term like a license to print money. We'll go through these later and make a video on some of our favorite plays of the day. But for you guys who don't consider yourself quote-unquote sharks and you can't do multi-entry lineup and you're just looking for something that might be a little bit easier to win on, you just got to pick your favorite one. I don't find it to be too difficult at all. Things have been going well since it opened up. We'd love to come kind of just talk you guys into it and talk about this one a little bit more. Yesterday we featured Canning over Davies. Was an easy win. Dwight Howard over Markieff Morris. Easy win. Did not get the trifecta. The singer was terrible, but we talked about Marquez over Cueto the night before. It won easily. And then I was really big on Kamara over Jacobs. I couldn't understand the public betting him down to even, but went harder on that one. So a lot of victories to talk about. It seems like fun. Maybe it's just a hot 10 days, or maybe it's just an easier one to play. So hop on board. If you choose to try it out for the first time and make an initial deposit, screenshot it and send it to me so I can get you guys a free DFS 5-pack membership. Length of the membership depends on what your deposit is. All right, guys, let's get back into DK picks for the day, though. If you can, drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the station if you're new to it. I mentioned the promo. A $50 deposit on overlays of free 2 weeks, $100 deposit, free month, $500 deposit, free annual membership, $1,000 deposit, free lifetime membership. Screenshot for new overlay players, screenshot the deposit, send it to me, and we'll hook you up. Let's talk about who we're looking at tonight on Draftkings. So we got ourselves a Heat Celtics game 4 tonight. This is just, with the Celtics getting game 3, this is just matching up to be a great series. I think we're going 7 here. I'm really enjoying watching this series. Couple of teams that play the game the right way, in my opinion. I'm looking at Jay Crowder of the Miami Heat, Mr. Dependable over here. I don't like to say look at the game log, but honestly, just look at the game log. He slides in, non-captain preferably, but he slides in very, very nicely, very reliable, getting solid rebounds, couple of counting stats, shooting the 3-ball effectively. This was a good addition for Miami. His consistency has been wonderful. And in the playoff NBA world, I mean, just getting those guys that don't snowflake for you is real big. Had a couple of them last night, as last night did not go well because the Lakers did not play well. But I did not expect the Heat to play terrible today. I expect a good competitive game right here, and I expect the Heat to fight real hard. Next up, let's go over to the Boston Celtics and talk about the young phenom, Jason Tatum. So Gordon Hayward's return, this will now be his second game back. We'll cut into a couple players on Boston. Jason Tatum is not one of those guys. You know, these young studs they have with him and Brown, it was a little bit, maybe not they're all young. I guess Hayward and Kemba are young. It was a little spread out throughout the regular season, but Tatum has really established himself as a lead dog for this team. He's got one bad game in recent memory. Other than that, I mean, the guy's stats, he still offers upside at this price. He's the guy that I'm scared to fade because he'll obviously get a lot of love on this slate. And if he drops another 55 or 60-pointer like he's been very capable of doing and you don't have him in your lineup, I don't think your opportunity to win this evening is going to be very good unless you absolutely nut all your other picks. He's just the best player on the Celtics, and I absolutely want him on my roster tonight. All right, other Boston Celtic in play, Enes Kanter. I think he's your best dirt cheap option, but I want to reiterate, he is not a must. He can also easily be taken out of the rotation. We saw him play, I don't know if I want to use the word sparingly or not at all in the Raptors series. I can't remember if he got in at any game at any point, but if he did, it was probably single-digit minutes throughout the entire series. Game 1, they went with Williams. Game 2 and 3, they gave Kanter some run. His run was shorter in Game 3. We'll see what it is tonight. Just be prepared to know that this guy could easily be a 0. We talked about P.J. Dozier yesterday as the best quote-unquote cheap option. Now, he did not reach the court. He was 50% owned, though, which is about what I would guess Kanter would be tonight. So it's still easy in cash games to take that 0 because it allows you to get the good players onto your team and you could have easily cashed last night. Like looking at where I finished a little outside of the money, even with Dozier 0 at 50% owned, I mean, he had very little to do with the loss, honestly. It was more because AD wasn't good. Caruso had his worst game of the series. Danny Green had his worst game in forever. Guys played poorly for the Lakers. It happens. You're not happy about it. You'd like to go back and redo it, but, it's not the end of the world. Canner can be in your lineup tonight, and in cash games specifically, get you a 0, and you can still cash if you get your other plays right. So while it is a little risky, it is lower risk in that sense. So I don't think he's a must. However, we know this dude. Like, what if the game flow calls for him to play 12 minutes and he goes for 20 points? There are very few guys who put up DFS points quicker than him. So there's some risk to fading. There's some risk to playing. There's some risk to everything you could potentially do with this guy. 0 and 20 points are both possible. I am back and forth on whether or not I'm going to play him. We did the members only video. We went through the sample build for the best optimal lineup. And there was the last two spots was either Canner and I forget the other person or two other guys is like a way to flip-flop it. So he's not a must, but he is wildly shortlisted and your best option below 2K in my opinion. All right, last up, let's talk about Miami center Bam Adebayo. So he's my big money preference for Miami over Jimmy Buckets. It's no knock on Butler today. I don't think Butler's a bad play. Butler is somebody I'm considering to make my final lineup. But in just a 1v1 preference, give me Bam Adebayo versus Jimmy Butler. This is all about exposing the mismatch right here, in my opinion. Quite frankly, he's too big and talented for the Boston Celtics to guard effectively. Boston plays elite perimeter defense, but their one area where you can get at him a little bit is going to be against opposing big men. And we've seen Bam play very well, continue to play better and better throughout the series. His 30 shots he's taken over the past 2 games are the largest number combined that we've seen in recent memory from him, because he's starting to realize he is the mismatch against the Boston Celtics. Butler, Dragic, Hero, Crowder, Duncan Robinson, these guys are all primarily perimeter players, and Boston plays elite, excellent perimeter defense, but they're a little undersized and undermanned on the inside, which is what Bam can expose. That's what I got for today, guys. Don't forget to click the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new to the station. We appreciate y'all watching. We'll hit you up with some matchup shop later. We'll talk about some baseball. Have a great hump day, and we'll see you in a little bit.